Hey, good evening, everybody. It's John Wayne Mullins, and hope you're having a great evening, great day. It's day 42 of my 100-day challenge of going live each and every night to talk about all things leadership for new dads. I'm a new dad, and I'm definitely in this season of life where I am just learning a lot. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm certainly being challenged as if you're a parent or if you are a dad, you know the season that I'm in. This whole week, I've been talking a lot about the kind of the post-op from the webinar that I had last Saturday, and we and Ben Kaloy talked about 10 different things that most dads focus on, or 10 dads uh, uh, are challenged by in that first year or in that season of life they're becoming a new dad. And we talked a lot about boundaries. And so this whole week I've been discussing why is that important? What do boundaries look like? And if you are a new dad, or if you are a dad that you may be 10 years down the road from me, or you may have kids that are already out of the house. When you think about the season of life that I'm currently in, how important were boundaries for you in order to be successful, in order to be present, in order to still, manage your time, manage your day, your work responsibilities, your business. If you're an entrepreneur, your dad or your husband responsibilities. How important were boundaries, and what were your biggest challenges in that season as a dad? And if you still have things to add, I'm certainly all ears about this topic of boundaries. One of the things that kind of came up after I sent out an email to everybody to kind of hear what were their big takeaways, and again, this topic of boundaries really came up, and one of the individuals gave me some really good feedback, and he says, when I think about boundaries in this season of life of being a dad, it really uh, it really helps me to answer the question of knowing how much I know about myself. And so I was like, well, what does that mean? And he said, if I want to, I have to know what I'm like under stress, under pressure. And I don't know if you can really say, how it's really going to be. I mean, I'm 7 months in and I'm exhausted. Today was one of those days that it was a full day, but I wanted to get on here and talk about this. And um, it's he was sharing the idea that I have to know myself so well that I know how I'm going to respond in stressful situations. And what he said was um, really, he really tied it to boundaries in the sense that saying, I have this new life that I'm responsible for. However, I still have my work responsibilities, my husband responsibilities, and my relationship with my wife is critical. It's number one. And but I still own my own business. I have work responsibilities, community responsibilities. I volunteer. I help out in the church. All these responsibilities. But he said I had to learn how and where to start saying no, because as a new dad, and this is I'm speaking to myself here, as a new dad, your time is so valuable, and it's easy to get lost in uh, your commitments. It's easy to get lost in that old way of life when you didn't have these responsibilities, or all these different things that are going on in your life. And so my point is, do you know where you're saying yes to, and do you have a process to help you manage those decisions on a daily basis? And if so, what is that process? What is your process to how you spend your time? What's your criteria? Do you create a daily to-do list, or do you do whatever you kind of feel like in the moment? What is your process for you to make the decisions to either commit to something, or say yes to this, or say no to this? Because what I've learned, I used to say yes to a lot of different things, and I've learned how to say no, because I want to be able to say yes to the right thing in the right season. So if I'm constantly saying yes to everything, when that great project, or when something like having, you're not overcommitted. You're not, you know, you have enough room in your schedule and your time to commit to something. So one of the things that that I do, and I wanted to share this, and if you had anything to add to your process about how you decide on how you spend your time, or do you have that process? You know, I'm a big fan of using to-do list. I'm a big fan, if anybody knows me, I'm a big fan of using Scrum boards. I will kind of share this. I got this from my friend John McCaskill, who created this. And it's basically, it helps me kind of stay on task on the things that I need to do each and every week. It's something that I use it every day, but I really use it to work on my goals, on my tasks, on my commitments. So I know what I'm doing. I know what needs to get done. I know what's on my back burner. That's just one of my processes. I also have accountability partners. I have a mentorship group, and a mastermind group. I have a coach. I've given permission to all these people in my life because I want to be able to say, hey, these are the things I'm working on, but these are also the things that I'm really trying to protect, and I'm really trying to protect my time. And again, I have just a 7-month-old right now. I don't have a 6-year-old who has soccer practice, or multiple kids with multiple different events, or multiple different sports or activities. So I think for those dads, it's, I can imagine that you have to be even more stricter on your time management, on the way that you make your decisions. And so again, I'd really like to hear from some of the other dads, or even if you're catching the live or the replay on this, let me know, and let me know how you decide your process and what is that. Because I think the more and more people that are tuning into Mr. New Dad, it's something that I'm starting to see a lot of people have questions on. Is, I need help making better decisions. I need help with better time management. I need help with trying to figure out what are my priorities. Obviously, I have my priorities of my family, but how do you learn to say no? And I was actually talking to a new client today who asked this question. And after I was able to help them determine what their goals are and what their priorities are, I asked them, what do you have in place so you stay focused on that? How are you going to accomplish that? Yeah, it's easy to say, hey, I want my yearly goal to be this. Well, what are you doing today about it? And when we think about boundaries, we really are protecting our time, so we can stay focused on the things that really matters. So is this making sense? Because I just feel like this is really for somebody, and I love talking these topics, because as a new dad, I know that the struggle is real. I'm a business owner. I'm in the reserves with the Coast Guard. I have my commitments every month. I'm a husband. I'm a dad. I have my nonprofits that I support. I'm a board member. So it's easy to get lost if you're not intentional about the things that you are committing to. And I know how hard that struggle is. But these are just some of the tools that I'm learning that have really helped me in this. That's a lot of stake into, because it's certainly helping me to get on here at 8 o'clock at night every night and talk about these things. And so again, I'm looking forward to it. And with that being said, next Saturday is November 13th. Sorry, November 13th. Next day, we're going to be doing next webinar. And special guest announcement that I'll be again a little bit more in depth. I'm going to really offer some Q&A and really in teaching just some of these lessons. But we're going to keep doing this topic, the changes that in the season, specifically focus on the boundaries that really can help you stay successful in your marriage business. A new dad. So hope you can join me on next Saturday for 13 days. I'll be up. So make sure you get on that. And tomorrow will be day 40. I'm